What if I told you that the blood pressure reading you took this morning, the one you've been relying on to tell you if you're healthy or at risk, is fundamentally lying to you? I know. It sounds like one of those medical conspiracies you scroll past on social media, but I'm not talking about a wellness trend or a hacked medical device. I'm talking about a brand new wave of cardiovascular research, some of it published just months ago in early 2026, that is forcing cardiologists to completely rewrite what we thought we knew about how hypertension kills. Most seniors are checking their numbers at the exact wrong time, using the exact wrong method, and missing the single most dangerous warning sign of a silent heart attack. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why that 8 a.m. reading is dangerously misleading, the nocturnal spike that most doctors are missing entirely, and, most importantly, what the latest research suggests you can actually do to get an accurate picture of your heart health tonight. So stick with me. This one matters. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where I dig into the real science behind aging, circulation, and longevity, without the hype, without the scare tactics, and without trying to sell you a miracle supplement. Today we're tackling something that genuinely shocked me when I started reading the latest clinical data from the American Heart Association and international journals. High blood pressure is the silent killer for a reason. It affects nearly 1.3 billion people worldwide. In the United States alone, nearly half of all adults have hypertension, and for seniors over the age of 65, that number jumps to a staggering 75%. Even more concerning are the disparities within these numbers. Research consistently shows that non-Hispanic Black adults have the highest prevalence of hypertension globally, at approximately 56%, compared to 48% for non-Hispanic white adults and 46% for Hispanic adults. And despite billions of dollars poured into pharmaceuticals, the stroke and heart failure rates aren't dropping as fast as they should. But here's what's changing. Over the last few years, and especially in the last 12 months, scientists have identified a massive flaw in how we monitor these numbers. We've been treating blood pressure like a static number on a page, when it's actually a living, breathing rhythm. And the most dangerous part of that rhythm happens when you are fast asleep. Let me walk you through it. Okay, so first I need to explain something that, honestly, still blows my mind every time I think about it. Your blood pressure isn't a constant. It's not like your height or your eye color. It is a fluctuating wave that follows your body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm. In a perfectly healthy senior, your blood pressure should follow a very specific pattern. It stays steady during the day, it begins to drop in the evening, and it dips by 10% to 20% while you sleep. This nocturnal dip is your heart's only real chance to rest. It's the time when your arteries relax, your heart rate slows, and your vascular system repairs the micro-damage caused by the day's stress. But here is the danger zone that the 2026 data is highlighting. A huge percentage of seniors are what scientists call non-dippers. This means their blood pressure stays high all night long. Or even worse, they are risers, meaning their blood pressure actually increases while they sleep. And here is why your morning reading is lying to you. By the time you wake up, get out of bed, and put that cuff on your arm at 8 a.m., your body has already started its morning surge. Your cortisol has spiked, your heart rate has increased, and that nocturnal danger, the 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. window, where the pressure was shredding your delicate blood vessels, is completely hidden. You see a normal 125/80 on your machine, and you think you're fine. But for the 6 hours prior, you might have been at 150/95 while you were dreaming. That is why people have heart attacks in their sleep. That is why people wake up with a stroke despite well-managed daytime numbers. Now, here's the part that really got my attention. Researchers at the University of Oxford, working with teams in Japan and Italy, ran a massive longitudinal study that basically nailed this down. They used 24-hour ambulatory monitoring, little devices that take your blood pressure every 30 minutes for a full day. What they found was staggering. Nighttime blood pressure was a significantly more accurate predictor of cardiovascular death than daytime readings. In fact, for every 10 mmHg increase in nighttime systolic pressure, the risk of a major cardiac event increased by 25%, regardless of what the daytime numbers showed. Let that sink in. You could have perfect numbers at your doctor's office and still be in the highest risk category because of what's happening in the dark. The morning surge is essentially a mask that hides the true state of your arteries. So let's get to the question you clicked on this video for. Why is the morning reading so wrong, and what is actually happening? This is where a major new review comes in. In February of this year, 2026, researchers published a comprehensive analysis in the Journal of Hypertension. They looked at over 100,000 patient records and found that the morning surge is often misinterpreted. Most people assume that if their blood pressure is high in the morning, it's just because they're stressed about the day. But the researchers found that a high morning reading is almost always a reflection of a failed dip the night before. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. During the day, the water pressure is on. At night, you're supposed to turn the tap off, but if the tap is broken and the pressure stays on all night, the hose begins to weaken. By the time you check the hose in the morning, you aren't seeing the stress it went through at 2 a.m. You're just seeing the result of the tap being turned back on. The morning reading is a lagging indicator. It's telling you about a battle that already happened while you were unconscious. So, why are so many seniors non-dippers? There are several pathways that cause this nocturnal spike, and honestly, when I first learned about them, it made me rethink my entire evening routine. The first pathway is the kidney sodium link. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at processing sodium during the day. If you eat a high-sodium dinner, your body can't flush it out fast enough. To compensate, your body increases your blood pressure at night to force the kidneys to filter that salt. So that high morning reading, it might just be your kidneys desperately trying to fix your dinner choice from 10 hours ago. The second pathway is through something called obstructive sleep apnea, or even just disordered breathing. If you snore, or if your breathing becomes shallow at night, your oxygen levels drop. Your brain panics. It sends a massive jolt of adrenaline to your heart to wake you up just enough to breathe. This jolt sends your blood pressure skyrocketing. Because you're asleep, you don't feel the palpitations. You just wake up feeling a bit groggy, take your blood pressure, and see a slightly elevated number. You have no idea that your heart was running a marathon while you were in bed. The third pathway, and this is one that is specifically getting a lot of attention in 2026, is arterial stiffness. As we age, our arteries lose their elasticity. They become like old, brittle plastic instead of flexible rubber. During the day, we can somewhat compensate for this, but at night, when the heart rate slows down, the stiffness of the arteries causes the pressure waves to bounce back toward the heart faster than they should. This is called pulse wave reflection. It creates a secondary spike in pressure that happens at the end of every heartbeat. This is particularly dangerous for seniors because it puts immense pressure on the small blood vessels in the brain, leading to vascular dementia over time. To truly combat this, we have to look at the hidden stressors that keep our sympathetic nervous system, our gas pedal, pushed down while we try to sleep. One factor that researchers are now emphasizing is nocturnal noise pollution. You might think you've tuned out the sound of traffic or the hum of a loud refrigerator, but your brain hasn't. Studies from 2025 show that consistent low-frequency noise triggers microarousals. You don't fully wake up, but your blood pressure jumps 10 to 15 points every time a car passes or a plane flies over. This contributes to that broken tap phenomenon I mentioned earlier. If you live in a noisy area, a high-quality white noise machine or earplugs isn't just for sleep quality. It's actually medical intervention for your blood pressure. Furthermore, we need to talk about metabolic carryover. If you're eating a high-carb snack right before bed, you're spiking your insulin. Insulin doesn't just manage sugar. It tells your kidneys to hold on to sodium. So even if you weren't salty at dinner, that late-night bowl of cereal or crackers is causing your body to retain fluid and salt overnight, directly leading to a non-dipping profile. This is why the latest 2026 nutrition guides for seniors suggest a minimum 4-hour fasting window before sleep. Give your insulin a chance to bottom out so your kidneys can do their job of flushing the pipes while you dream. Okay, so we know the morning reading is often a lie. We know the nighttime spike is the real killer. But how exactly do we fix this? This is the part of the video that I think matters most, because after learning all this, the natural question is, okay, what can I actually do about it? Now, I want to be really clear about something. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to stop taking your medication. The science isn't about replacing treatment, it's about optimizing it. Always talk to your own doctor before making significant changes, especially regarding the timing of your prescriptions. First, the evening shift. One of the most consistent findings in chronotherapy, the science of timing medical treatments, is that for many seniors, taking blood pressure medication in the evening rather than the morning produces much better results. A landmark trial known as the Hygia Project found that patients who took their pills at bedtime had nearly half the risk of heart attack or stroke compared to those who took them in the morning. Why? Because the medication is at its peak strength exactly when the non-dipper spike is trying to happen. It provides a chemical shield for your heart while you sleep. If you're currently a morning pill taker, ask your doctor if you are a candidate for an evening switch. For some people, this one change is more effective than doubling the dose. Second, the sodium sunset. We've all been told to eat less salt, but the 2026 research suggests that when you eat salt is just as important as how much. If you're going to have a higher sodium meal, have it for lunch. Give your kidneys 8 to 10 hours to process it before you lie down. At dinner, focus on potassium-rich foods. Potassium is the natural antagonist to sodium. It helps relax the blood vessel walls and encourages the kidneys to flush out salt. Think spinach, avocados, salmon, or a banana. By loading up on potassium in the evening, you are chemically signaling your vascular system to begin its nocturnal dip. Third, magnesium, the vascular relaxant. I've talked about magnesium before, but its role in nighttime blood pressure is critical. Magnesium helps regulate the calcium channels in your heart and arteries. When calcium enters the cells, they contract. When magnesium enters, they relax. Many seniors are chronically deficient in magnesium, meaning their arteries are stuck in a state of semi-contraction all night. Talk to your doctor about a high-quality magnesium glycinate or citrate supplement taken an hour before bed. It doesn't just help with sleep, it helps your arteries let go of the day's tension. Fourth, the cool down. There is a fascinating link between your body's core temperature and your blood pressure. To fall into a deep, dipping sleep, your core temperature needs to drop by about 2 degrees. If your bedroom is too warm, or if you take a hot bath right before hopping into bed, your body struggles to cool down. To compensate, it keeps your heart rate and blood pressure high to move blood to the skin's surface for cooling. Keep your bedroom between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. It sounds cold, but it's the Goldilocks zone for your heart. Fifth, manage the midnight stress. We often think of stress as something that happens at the office, but your brain can experience physiological stress while you sleep. High levels of blue light from screens right before bed inhibit melatonin. Melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone. It's a powerful antioxidant that has been shown to lower nocturnal blood pressure. If you're watching the news or scrolling through your phone until 11 p.m., you're suppressing your melatonin and effectively ordering a blood pressure spike for 3:00 a.m. Turn off the screens an hour before bed. Read a physical book. Let your nervous system drain before you close your eyes. And finally, and this one is a bit more technical, be thoughtful about volume overload. If you drink a massive amount of water right before bed, you are increasing your total blood volume. For a young person, the kidneys handle this easily. For a senior with slightly stiffer arteries, that extra volume can lead to higher pressure throughout the night. Try to get your hydration in during the day and just take small sips in the evening. I want to zoom out for a second because I think this research represents something really important, not just about hypertension, but about how we think about the aging body. For most of medical history, we've treated the body like a machine that's either on or off. We check your oil once a year at the doctor's office and assume everything is fine. But what the 2026 data is showing us is that the body is more like a symphony. Everything has a timing. Everything has a rhythm and flow. Preventing a heart attack in your 70s might not be about a stronger drug. It might be about a smarter schedule. It means that the most important medical test you ever take isn't at the clinic. It's the one you do in your own bedroom while you're asleep. There are already researchers exploring smart cuffs that can monitor you invisibly throughout the night. There are clinical trials underway testing whether specific circadian diets can reverse arterial stiffness. We're at the very beginning of this story, but the direction it's heading is unmistakable. Chronomedicine, the science of timing, is going to become the most important frontier in senior health within the next decade. I'm confident of that. Look, I know this is a lot of information, and I don't want anyone walking away from this video feeling terrified of their morning coffee or their blood pressure cuff. That's not the point. The point is empowerment. The point is that the silent killer isn't as silent as we thought. It leaves tracks. It leaves clues in the middle of the night. And for the first time, we have the tools to see those clues and act on them with confidence and scientific precision. We're seeing a path forward that gives ordinary people, not just pharmaceutical companies, some agency in this fight. It's about taking that 8 a.m. reading with a grain of salt, figuratively, of course. It's about realizing that if your morning numbers are creeping up, the battlefield you need to focus on is your evening routine. It's about understanding that your heart doesn't punch a time clock. It's working 24/7, and it needs your help most when you aren't even awake to give it. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. The choices you make at 8 p.m. are the ones that dictate your safety at 4 a.m. The way you manage your salt at dinner, the temperature of your room, the timing of your walk, and the way you wind down. These things are the secret ingredients to a healthy cardiovascular system. That's not a scare tactic. That's an opportunity. That's a way to take a silent threat and turn the lights on, giving you the power to protect your heart forever. If this topic helped you or taught you something new, I'd genuinely appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. It helps more than you'd think, especially in getting this science-backed information to other seniors who might be relying on misleading morning numbers. And subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I've got more interesting topics coming on circulation, heart-healthy nutrition, and the latest breakthroughs in aging well, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Share your thoughts. I want to hear from you. Do you track your blood pressure at home? Have you ever noticed that your morning readings seem higher than they should be? Have you ever tried switching your medication timing with your doctor's permission? Your insights help us build a stronger, more informed community, and your personal experiences often shape the deep dive research for future videos. I read every comment to ensure we are tackling the health issues that matter most to you. Take care of your heart, watch your rhythms, and I'll see you in the next one.